So IKEA's been making smart home tech for a while, but you've always had to get their hub, which costs like $100 to use any of their tech with the rest of your smart home. And that's changing now with their Matter over Thread devices that they've just released. And this button costs $6, which is way cheaper than any other Matter over Thread button that I've seen on the market. So let's see, is it any good? All right, no tape. Of course, the helpful IKEA guy here. All right, you got a magnet on the back. Now, the first thing that clearly means you get what you pay for with $6 is that you need to supply your own AAA batteries, but that's not too hard. Got the batteries in. Now let's see, scan the code. Add switch to home. Wow, it's setting it up right away. And I'm pairing this straight into Apple Home, but you could pair it with whatever smart home system you want. We'll put it here in my office just for testing. So now if I go into my office, I have this button here, and there's actually two different buttons on this. So there's the top one, and then there's the bottom one. So you'll see them register in Apple Home with the press as I hit each one of these buttons. So I went ahead and also added my filming scene to the double press. But if I go ahead and hit the bottom button, the single press, then you'll see my office turns off. If I turn the top button on, then I get my office bright scene, again, right away. And then if I double tap the top button, my filming scene goes back on. And to get all this for 2 AAA batteries plus $6, I mean, that's pretty crazy. Let's see, is there gonna be any kind of bugs with this if I use it for a little bit longer? So I've been playing with this button for about 24 hours now, and so far the performance is great. It's very snappy, the tactile feedback is nice, I haven't had it drop from my smart home at all. And this is not the only Matter over Thread device that IKEA is starting to ship. They also have contact sensors, which I got a hold of, as well as motion sensors. Now these are passive infrared motion sensors, not millimeter wave presence sensors, but still something that's great for automating like hallway lights. And all of these are very competitive prices. But the reason I really wanted to focus on the smart button for this video is I think it's a great first step for doing a lot of automations in your home. Maybe the contact sensor as well with automating things like closet lights, but the button is a great way to just put it near the switch on your wall so you have that existing behavior of hitting the switch on your wall. Instead of that, you hit the button, then you can chain it to other lights, you can chain it to playing music at the same time, or changing the color of the lights depending on the time of day. And as you saw as I configured and set up the button, this button actually has 2 software buttons inside of it. These 2 different divots on the button indicate the 2 different buttons. The bigger divot is button 1. Now you can mount this on the magnetic mount upside down if your brain works better with the bigger divot being on the bottom, but either way, it's gonna be button 1 is the bigger divot in software. And as you saw in Apple Home, these can be configured with a single press, double press, or long press on the button. But is this button really worth it for you, or is it just too good to be true? Well, at $7, I think, given the performance I've seen so far, this is the new default smart button to buy if you can get a hold of one. And that's really where I think other smart buttons like the Flick Duo, which this completely blows away, have some room to compete for the time being, because this thing is going to be hard to find, I bet, at its price point. I wouldn't be surprised if IKEA raises the price just a little bit as well. And keep in mind, of course, you do also have to bring your own AAA batteries. But I noticed that this was in stock in my store, and then when I actually wanted to order it, it was out of stock in my store. So then I had to get it shipped to my house. So I have a feeling a lot of these new Matter over Thread devices are going to be hit or miss where they're in stock and available to you. And that could be especially difficult if you only can order online because you don't live anywhere near an IKEA. But that said, you don't really have to be into IKEA to use these. You could have nothing else from IKEA and just tie these with your existing smart home platform. Again, that's the beauty of Matter over Thread. Now, the downside of Matter over Thread is sometimes I've found Matter over Thread devices to not always be the most reliable, but in this case, so far, I haven't seen any of those early symptoms that I often see with other devices, like having trouble pairing to my smart home or being really slow to respond. So right now I have this connected into Apple Home, which means I have an Apple Home Hub that supports Thread. So I have HomePods, HomePod Minis, as well as Apple TVs. The high-end Apple TV has a Thread radio built in. And so for pairing with Apple Home, you'll need to make sure you have an Apple Home Hub. But the cool part about Matter is that you can do multi-admin, which means you can pair this with an additional Matter ecosystem and have controls there too. So I'm here at the button in my office. It's this button to be specific, and I can turn on pairing mode. And what this does is it registers the device to be able to pair with another Matter ecosystem. I'm going to go ahead and copy the code. Then I can go over here to Homey, which is another smart home system, and I can just hit new device and I'll say Matter. And then I can go ahead and type in the pairing code. So I'll just hit more options, the button. I think this is the one. Great. Let's give it a name that makes more sense. Hit continue. Done. Come on, are you gonna find it? And it's setting it up. Look at this. Oh. All right, so Homey Pro doesn't seem to be working too well. Let's go ahead and try Akara. So we'll go over to Akara. We'll say I want to add this device, add accessory, Matter devices, add pairing code by number, paste, okay. And it's going to connect. Great, continue. My third-party device has been added to Apple Home, paste. Yes, okay. And we'll pair it with the M3 hub. Add to Akara Home. Oh boy. Come on. I have gotten Matter multi-admin to work with other devices in the past, but clearly it's not as smooth sailing as it could or should be with this button. Maybe that'll improve over time. Maybe it's just something specific to my setup and what I'm doing here. Either way though, just with Apple Home, these buttons have been great. And I'd say if you're just pairing it with one smart home system that works with Matter, these buttons are definitely worth checking out because the value for $7, what you get, is really impressive. So be sure to subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. Thanks again so much for watching, and if you want to see more about ways your smart home could be better at night, which includes some IKEA lighting and all kinds of other things, I have a video linked here on the screen. Thanks again so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.